Why, hello there. Would you like to see the portal to my pixie playhouse? The door to my dryad den? The threshold to my throne? Obviously you do. That's why you clicked on this video. So why are we getting farther and farther away? Because we must back up the story. We have to start at the beginning of the journey of visioning and forging the most whimsical door of all time. And if you do not come back to the beginning of the door, you will not understand the emotional payoff of finishing the door. We must journey back.
Hello, my name is River. I'm back at the abandoned cabin, which if you're new here, it's a abandoned hunting cabin that we are fixing up and moving into so I can move out of my yurt. And when I say we, I mean me and my dog Romeo. Is laying down on the couch. I'm gonna start stripping the paint off of the front door. And I've done some research on how to do this. Pretty much everybody takes the door off of its hinges to do that, but the paint stripper has to sit for 24 hours. And I don't feel comfortable not having a door overnight. Raccoons could get in. Yeah, specifically raccoons, but, you know, other critters could get in. I'm not really comfortable with that. I think that there's a big argument to be made that the door should just be replaced. And I know it's not that hard to find doors, and, you know, that could be a thing, but I do really like that there's a big window in the door, and I have extra paint that I got for free, and I have the paint stripper. I figure, like, worst case scenario, this will be an experiment for me for the first time that I've ever tried to strip paint off of something and repaint it. So even if it doesn't look that good and I just end up getting another door, it's another, you know, it's another project, another thing to try. So I'm gonna try to take the hardware off, or at least as much as I can, and apply paint stripper to this really thick. And hopefully it'll, you know, work, even though I'm not gonna have the door be horizontal. It's gonna stay up. Okay, that's probably not gonna come off. Got gloves and this citrus strip and a shitty paintbrush. I can definitely see why most people do this with the door horizontal. It's another half-ass river project. Not really sure how much I should be gooping it on there versus just, you know, getting a good layer, but saw someone online recommend that you use cling wrap on it to help it stay on there, which makes me think you kind of do want to goop it on there, because that's what you do with tattoo numbing gel. Like, goop it on there and then hold down with the cling wrap. I basically just painted this pink citrus stain remover all over the outside. I'm going to close the door and do the inside. Okay, the door is now completely coated in this citrus stripper. People recommend 24 hours. I'm probably gonna try to scrape off the inside part where the door closes at the end of the day, just so that I can close the door. Oh wow, it's already starting to peel off. Probably too early for me to be doing this, but I can't resist. Oh. There's like 3 layers of paint. This part of the project was really satisfying, but also not as satisfying as it looks online, because I was not able to get all the layers off, which I thought I could do them all at once, and it was just doing like one at a time. Good morning! We're back. It's a beautiful day. I just went to Home Depot and got more the citrus paint stripper and also paint for the door, because I thought I had paint for the door, but I realized that it was interior paint, so that wouldn't really work. Get back into stripping the door and then applying another layer of stripper to whatever's left. I'm gonna start on the outside this time. Oh my god. This is exhausting. Low-key exhausting. And there's still so much paint on this door. I'm having a moment of like seriously questioning if I should have just bought a new door, but it's too late now. It looks even worse than when we started. I'm gonna really glop on the citrus stripper now. Okay, we are all glooped up on both sides now. I really put it on there thick. It seems like how this works is like the stripper absorbs the paint And so it needs to be glooped on there in order to like absorb more than just like the very, very top layer of paint. So hopefully this works. It smells really intense. I have all the windows open, but I'm gonna try to like not be next to the door. Been 24 hours of this sitting on here and the door looks like it's been murdered. Oh yeah, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Guess what? We're back. I chopped off most of my hair over the weekend, and I'm gonna go on another round of taking the paint stripper off of the door. Hopefully getting the rest of it off now. Definitely giving murder cabin right now. Well, this is as much as I could get off with the paint scraper. I'm gonna do the other side. I'm gonna let this side dry so I can come at it with sanding stuff tomorrow. Maybe another layer of the paint remover for the little bits of paint that's left. I'm not sure. I've never done anything like this before, so I really don't know where's the good stopping point for the paint stripper, but I have some left, so I think I'm just gonna apply it to the places at least where the paint is still thickest. And I do have like sanding stuff and scrubbies to try to get off anything else once I've done another layer of that. Hello, it's a new day. I'm gonna take this final coat of the paint stripper off and I'm just gonna call it good after that. I talked to Jai, who, if for new people, lives on the property, general contractor, and he said that if I have most of the paint off and I sand the rest of it down so that it's a smooth surface, I should be able to reapply more paint without it being an issue, which was a big relief to hear because, yeah, trying to get all of this off is a pain in the butt. And I have a bunch of like little brushes and scrubbies and tools to try to get into the nooks and crannies after I do the general paint stripping. So I'm gonna jump in there. Hopefully, final round. Oh, okay. Okay, hi. Let's do a little check-in here. It is Monday. I feel like hot garbage. I think I might be sick. It is snowing. I'm running out of time to be working on these projects. And even though this door is not looking too good, I just gotta keep going. I gotta keep going. I'm gonna sand off some more stuff. I'm gonna use some deruster on the hardware, which I should have taken off. I should just put in the effort to take it off at the beginning, whatever it takes. That was stupid. Okay, I'm just gonna start priming this side. This side feels pretty good, and then when I'm done priming this side, I'll try to get the paint remover off the other side, and I'll prime that side. And yeah, the main areas where the paint didn't really come off is like in these little detail cracks in here. And oh, I forgot about this gnarly thing. Okay, I need to deal with that piece of hardware, but I feel like I should have saved painting the door for later because it's not that important compared to painting the back room so that I can move in to the back room, but we're here now. Can't stop, won't stop.
This is the moment where our hero should have turned back, went down the wrong path, and it will take a very long time to return to the right path.
Or update incoming. My bangs look so weird right now, and I don't have a mirror, so I can't really fix it. Okay, update on the door. Yeah, the paint stripper soaked into the wood. I should have taken an orbital sander and really gotten in there, taken off the top layer of the wood so that there wasn't any more paint stripper soaked into it. The consequence is that the primer is not sticking in certain places. I was just gonna paint it anyway and let it flake and be like, I don't have any more time for this. Like, I definitely not gonna scrape the primer off after everything I've been through, even though that's like what needs to be done. Dry just came over, older brother, general contractor who lives on the property, and he said that he has a ton of doors and that I can have one that is already primed and then I can just paint over it. And I am going to take him up on that offer, which means that everything I just did was a giant waste of time and effort, and it is a bit of a bummer in the sense that, like, my favorite thing about this door is that it has a window on it, and none of Jai's doors have a window on them, but there are a lot of windows in this room, so I'm gonna be okay. I can still see out the front through the window that is over here. And it would be really frustrating and a bummer to use the paint that I bought to paint the door and then just have it flake off because the foundation is bad. It does suck because I do think I actually did a really good job on the restoration. I just should have borrowed the orbital sander and like sanded everything else off. And I should have taken it off the hinges so that I could do everything properly. And I didn't. And I'm trying to take it as like the lesson that I've learned from this is that I absolutely hate stripping paint, and I am not going to strip the paint off of the window frames. I'm not gonna mess around with stripping the paint off things anymore because it sucks. It's not fun. I didn't have fun with that, and it's like a huge bummer to know that I spent like almost a week working on this only to, I don't know if I made it worse, but I definitely didn't make it better. Hello, we are back to working on the door project. And yes, I know my lips are super chapped. I have really bad eczema. It affects the air around my mouth first. It used to affect my eyes first. So before you drop chapstick, put on chapstick in the comments. Believe me, if chapstick could fix it, it would be better right now because I put on chapstick every 2 seconds. Okay, so last time we talked about the door project, I was saying that I was just gonna put an entirely new door on. Then I just went with Jai to look at his door collection, and none of the doors spoke to me the way that this one does, and none of them actually fit, so I would have had to modify them. And basically what we decided to do is I got some plastic and a staple gun. I'm gonna take this door off its hinges. I'm gonna plastic over the door so that the animals can't get in and stuff. And then I'm gonna go take it over to Jai's shop where there's like more electricity and more room and less mess. And I'm going to sand a bunch of it and reprime it and then paint it. And I do think it's going to be a lot more satisfying, even if it doesn't turn out perfect, to use the original door since I put in so much work to take the paint off of it, as y'all saw. And it was such a pain in the butt. And I really like the window on it. The window makes me really happy, and I want to continue with the window vibes. So let's take this door off of here. Nice. Oh, I should have done this to begin with. After all that, it's coming off the hinges. In general, I think that when you make a mistake, you know, you can quit, you can just start over, or you can learn that lesson and fix the mistake. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I need to just fix my mistake, sand off the primer, and go again. Doing it right this time, putting the hardware in vinegar to strip it. Gonna take the hardware off of here too. Gonna get Jai to help me probably. I think I got off all of the area that had the paint stripper soaked into it on one side.
Bondoing and then whatever. Bonding agent. Now we just give it a mix so it's all blue. And then if that Bondo on that knife is already dry, I just usually hit it with a sander to clean it up so you can
Gotcha.
do a smooth edge. You mix it pretty quick. I mean, you got it. You're fine. Here, you gotta start at one end. Oh yeah, you got it. You got it. But see, this is 45, so pull it off from that end. And yeah, and then just real careful edge it off. And if you do break it, I have other trim, but
yeah, it'd be nice to keep that.
Oh, watch the glass.
Oh. Come on, little baby trim, you're coming off tonight.
Yeah, that freaking. So I think their first mistake is the goddamn paint stripper. Don't ever do that again.
Dude,
I mean,
I'm like,
it's literally, it dissolved your fucking cog. It just is a disaster.
It was a disaster.
I
It was
have
not the right
learned
move.
from other people's mistakes enough that I've actually never applied.
Wow.
And
See, nobody's saying this on YouTube. Nobody's saying don't do the paint thinner.
All right, out. It's ready to go. You don't even have to tap it. So see how there's three, or there's, oh no, we gotta pull these.
Oh, more. And the other side.
This is amazing painter's caulk. We run through this shit by the fucking case when we do exterior jobs. And it's because it's so fucking cheap and it works so good and it's so quick.
It's time, at least for primer.
This is the point in our hero's journey where they finally return back to the fork in the road where they took the wrong turn to begin with and continue on their quest.
Okay, the spray foam is hardened. I'm gonna try to cut it off now. Oop. Okay, now I'm gonna try to apply wood filler to this. Why is it so hard to get this out? Oh, do you cut off the tip? Like I'm taking a dump. I just did the other side. It needs a couple hours to dry. Hopefully it'll be dry today, and then I can finally paint this. And obviously I need to like re-prime those spots too. I guess I should have done the filler before priming it, but whatever. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Sanded down the wood filler, and now it's time to actually paint.
Sometimes our hero cannot complete their quest without meeting a side character who has a pivotal role to play. And this is the moment in which I thank Rogue Jai for being that in this project.
This cabin that I'm in right now was built in the 80s. The door, however, is at least 100 years old. My friend helped me sort of identify that. It had hardware on it that only existed before the 1920s, and there's other things about the construction of it that make it clearly an old door, probably like around the turn of the century of like the early 1900s. It's made out of solid cedar. It's a really nice door. And it looked like crap before. So it was kind of an interesting, that's my son Romeo. It was kind of an interesting choice for me to decide to refinish this door while I'm in the process of moving into the cabin. That was a choice that was made. If I could go back in time, I would have waited to start this project until after I moved into the back room of the cabin so that I would have a door during the weeks of moving in. I've had plastic over my door for the past like 3 weeks, but I didn't know that this door refinishing project would take so long. And this has been, you know, the classic thing throughout the renovation throughout the renovation process that I think that most people doing any kind of renovation can relate to, which is everything takes longer than you think. You may have noticed when we were filling in the door that we filled in all the holes on the door, not just the ones from the old hardware that was cut off. And that's because we're going to, and we meaning Jai and I are going to put a completely different custom handle on there. This is my idea, but I wouldn't know how to pull it off without Jai, so I'm glad that he's helping me. But right now, Romeo and I are going on a hunt for a piece of wood to be the door handle, because I wanted it to be a very like forest fairy type door and to have a real wood handle that has like detail, like not bark. I'll probably take the bark off because it would come off anyway, but like, you know, very clearly being like a stick. So we're gonna go hunt down the perfect stick. This is a good stick. It has a little bit of a curve to it, which is what I'm looking for. It's a little bit thick. I also just kind of want to keep looking. I don't know, I've been looking around at sticks. They're not really fitting my qualifications. I think I'm gonna go back to that first one that I found. It doesn't have bark. It's the right shape. It's about the right thickness, and the branch is short enough that I can drag it over to Jai's shop to cut it properly. Some of these ones I'd have to like chainsaw it first, which isn't the end of the world, but my chainsaw's like on the other side of the property, and this is my last day to work on this project this week, and I need to get my door back on. So let's just, you know, take what I found. We're going on a stick hunt, a stick hunt, a stick hunt. We're going on a stick hunt to find the perfect stick. I just found this one. Got a nice curve to it, and it has a knot at the bottom, which I think is cool. The paint's a little thin in a couple spots, so I'm doing another coat.
My skin's super thick, but you just, it's not washable, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, now see how the bubble comes out a little bit?
Yeah.
We're gonna clean up that with a razor after it's
Dry.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
don't touch it.
So are you even gonna nail it, or is this gonna hold it in by itself?
But I gotta fit them all first because you nail it in the wrong spot. The nails are basically just to keep it tight while this caulk is drying, because this will tear the paint off when you pull it off. This does not come off.
Gotcha.
But if you hold it in place while it's drying with a little nail or two.
It's crazy how much gunk was in there, and now it's like all fresh.
Oh, man, it's gross.
Nice. It's a moment.
And then
Oh, that's
remember how
dope.
the tree binds, you know, so you don't want to cut from the bottom because it's gonna fall that way.
Whee! Right here.
For a hiking
so
saw,
fun.
that's the one. We're just gonna give it a little.
Nice. Okay, I am out of the rain and in the wood shop of the property. I'm going to be whittling down these handles so that they have a nice smooth hand feel, no splinters, and no like rotten wet wood parts left on them. I'm excited. I'm gonna get into a flow state and carve these up with a variety of different tools that Jai pulled out for me. A lot of work left to do, but it's coming along and I'm having a lot of fun. I haven't really ever whittled something this big, but I used to be really into whittling, and I lost my whittling kit at my old house after my divorce, so really fun to be back at it. I could probably do more filing, but I want to play with the more knifey tools.
It is at this point in the journey that our hero finally hits their stride and starts to make some serious progress towards the summit of creating the most whimsical door of all time for their cabin. Some heroes must find the right sword to complete their quest. Others must find the right bag of whittling tools and several different grits of sandpaper.
It's time to work on the second handle, which is the inside handle. It's a little bit smaller, but yeah, time to do the same thing to this guy. My right hand is cramping pretty bad from how hard I need to grip this tool, but I'm almost done. I have like a fifth of this left, so hopefully I can finish this today. Oh my gosh. Okay, the bark is off. I don't know if I have the power in this wrist to sand right now. My hand is like starting to go numb there at the end, but the hardest part is done. I don't want to like rush this. I'm gonna go sand the ends though right now. This is the first handle, which I already wiped down with linseed oil for linseed. This is the burl in its raw form. Last time we're seeing it. Cabin right now with the burl that is hello. The burl is what the bar knocks into on the door. Can you not, sir? And basically I need to carve all the bark off of this. There's a section over here that Dry is gonna cut off to make it fit better, so I'm gonna avoid that. I'm guessing that because of all the nooks and crannies in here, this is gonna take like at least 5 hours. So I brought my woodworking tools that I'm borrowing over to the cabin so I can work on it here. I think I'm just gonna like hold it in my lap and work on it. I didn't want to work on it in the wood shop because Romeo's not allowed in there because he chases cats. And if it's something I can do here, I'd rather do it here so that Romeo doesn't need to be alone while I'm working. So I'm just gonna get started. I have a horseback riding lesson in like 2 hours, so we'll see how much I can get done. This is what I got done yesterday, which is basically just scraping some of the bark off on the side, and that took me an hour. So I still think this whole thing will be like 5 hours at least. Yeah! Here, run up the trail with him. I got the water bottle. Okay, y'all. Look at this. Look at this beauty. I still need to paint it. I also need to replace this because I put this little ceramic bird on here, which is so cute, but then its wing broke off. So I need a different cool handle. Watch this. Oh, so satisfying. Yes, technically I do want to take the bark off of this, but basically 2 self-imposed deadlines are happening. One is that I have a friend coming to visit me who is a carpenter and has been like following this journey of me doing the door the whole time. And he lives like out of state, and basically I don't even know I'm gonna see him again. Might be the only time he sees the door. And I promised him / myself that it would be done by the time he got here to visit so I could show it to him. And then also I want to finish this video because yeah, I've been working on it forever. I really want to finish it. I want to move on. So basically I am going to just leave the bark on that one piece at a later date, take it off the door and remove the bark and sand it so that matches the rest of it. And I know it's kind of wild to have spent so much time polishing the other hardware, the other woodware, just to basically be like, and not do that one piece at all. But that is truly symbolic of how I do projects in general. So yeah, I need to replace that handle today and I need to paint the door. I need to paint the door ASAP actually so that it can start drying, but I'm so excited. Like when I started this project, I kind of glossed over everything and I was just excited to paint details on this door. So I'm finally at the part where I can like be in a flow state and let my creativity you know, just flow versus like all of these like, you know, executive function kind of steps. I guess I was in a flow state when I was debarking the hardware. But still, yeah, this is gonna be good. I did cut my thumb pretty bad last night. Not even sure how I did that. So that might get in the way a little bit of things, but I think it'll be fine. I've drawn a very loose mock-up of the designs I want to do on the front versus the back. I kind of only had one idea this whole time, and I had to make sure I had two. I thought about having it be symmetrical, like the same art on the front and the back, but it's not going to be symmetrical because I can't do anything the same way twice, and it's just kind of like a waste of an opportunity to have it be exactly the same on both sides. So I'm just gonna do like a bunch of flowers on the front, and then on the back it's gonna be more of this like as above so below kind of like broader nature theme, I guess. Yeah, we'll see how well this goes. Oh, I know how I cut my finger. It was sawing this piece off. This is from the first tree that I ever pruned, which is either an almond or a peach. I'm not really sure, and nobody else that I've talked to is really sure. So that's kind of cool having this like piece of a branch that was one of the first things I ever pruned on the door. And a piece of wood that is like specific to the cabin, because that tree has been in the cabin orchard, you know, since it started as a homestead. So I feel like that's pretty cool too. That's the tree over there. I feel like it would make the most sense to use a pencil to draw what I'm trying to do before I paint it, but I don't have any pencils and I don't want to use a pen, so we're just gonna jump in. We just gotta start here. I know what I'm doing. Okay, where's the center of the door? Say this is the center. No. No. This is like hard, actually. Why is this so hard right now? Oh god. This is like my worst nightmare, you guys. This is my worst nightmare. What is happening? Why do I suck at drawing right now? Oh no. No. Not getting it on the wood. Not getting it on the wood. Do I have the hand-eye coordination for this? That is the question. Wow. I kinda suck at this. I kinda suck ass at drawing a fucking circle, which should not be that hard. I don't do a lot of drawing by hand or painting by hand. I'm usually drawing on a computer. So that's my excuse. This is fine. This will work. This is a harrowing experience so far. This is stressing me out. Busting out the drop cloth just in case. I don't know what I'm doing, but I should probably be careful. I feel like I should pick a direction to stroke here. Pick a direction for these strokes. That's what a real artist would do, right? Guys, I'm not a real artist. I'm not a real artist. I'm just a fake. I'm just a big old imposter. Okay, that's actually good enough. I'm okay with that. I don't know, you guys. It kind of looks like a child painted on here. I feel like these lines are weird. I didn't fully think it through before I started, obviously, because I just did it. Freehand after all the work I've put into this door, and I don't have a pencil. Oh my gosh, my heart is beating so fast. This is like so high pressure right now. So intense. I feel like I need to make these lines thicker, maybe.
At this point in our saga, the hero simply must lock in and put aside their self-doubt in order to reach their final destination. The many months of work, the many months of forging, the many months of magic that went into creating the most whimsical door of all time. And look at that, we have returned to the moment in time in which I am ready to present to you the final door. Isn't she beautiful? Yeah. Let's go inside. The other side's better.
This is the final form. I mean, final is a strong word. Final is a very strong word, but this is the inside of the door, which I do like slightly better than the outside, just because there's more detail in the painting, and then also there's all the more cool wood hardware on the inside, so the inside is cooler to me, but they're both beautiful. I'm really happy with how both sides turned out. Let's kind of go over the details here. Jai and I put the hardware on the door in the middle of the night, a couple beers in, basically in the dark with like a flashlight, so I didn't film that, but I'll explain to you how the door hardware works. It's pretty simple. So when you pull the duck on the other side, which I have not replaced yet, even though it has one wing, it's kind of has character. I don't know. I'm gonna eventually replace it with some other tchotchke, but I didn't want to replace it with something else just for the sake of the video when I don't feel like I've found the perfect thing yet, and I do feel like the one wing bird kind of has character. So anyway, when you pull the wing bird on the other side, it hits this paracord, which we just drilled. Like this right here is attached with a screw here and a screw here, and then we drilled a hole through it that goes to the other side. The paracord comes through here and it lifts up this bar, which you guys saw me working on that. The bar fits in the burl, and this slides up, and then it comes forward, and then when it closes, look how nice and smooth this is. Yep, it just slides up the burl back into place. This is a piece of the burl that we cut off, sanded down, that's like keeping it the right distance away from the door. This is just screwed into the door. And over here, this part of the bar has a little brass tube in it. And the brass tube then has another screw fitted into it. It makes it so that it can spin smoothly inside of the hole in here. And also kind of be contained and not be like eating into the wood and eventually making it not open as smoothly. So yeah, and that's just screwed in. And that's the door hardware situation. I wrote free will here on the door because I want this door to be a reminder to me of my free will, of my ability to create beautiful things and be creative and be outside of the box. One thing I didn't factor in when I was painting is that the door comes down a little bit. So really like this kind of gets cut off when it's closed, but it also would have been off center when it's open. Like I could have moved this lettering down a little bit is what I'm saying. And I could have moved everything like in a little bit so that's more proportional to when the door is closed, but then it would be off when it's open. I don't really care. It's not that big of a deal. Nothing about this is perfect, obviously. Also, this handle is slightly too far to the left, which kind of will bother me forever, but I don't want to drill more holes in the door, and it's really not that big of a deal. And yeah, nothing that I do is perfect, so this is imperfect as well. And if you're wondering, this has been working great as a handle. I usually grab it by this little like piece that sticks out here when I'm closing it, and it hasn't had any problems with it being, you know, on the center of the door versus on the side of the door so far. I didn't also show me painting very much of the door because I wanted it to kind of be like a surprise what the final form was. And I will say that when I first painted it, I kind of hated it at first because this dark purple paint is what on the flower petals is what I used to paint the floor in the back room, and that wasn't a part of my original design, in the sense that when I picked out the colors to paint this with, I picked low contrast colors. Like this orangey yellow and this green are not very contrasting with this salmon pink, and I did that on purpose because I didn't want the door to be too like loud, because the front room of the cabin is much more subdued and sort of like calm feeling than the back, which I've done super, super colorful. And I kind of just forgot that I would need a third color in order to have enough colors to do the door. So I was like, oh, I have all this purple paint, I'm just gonna use that. And when I first finished it, because the purple paint is high contrast and that wasn't my original intention, I kind of hated it for like 3 days. And I told myself just to like sit with it. Like it felt like almost like creepy how dark this color was. You know how there's like, I don't know, animals in nature or flowers that kind of like have like a creepy hypnotic thing going on? That's how I felt about how dark this petal color was for a little bit, but after giving it a couple days for me to kind of like get desensitized to it, I really like it. As you can see, I did a little outfit to match the colors of the door. I really like it, and I think that I am probably going to keep pushing the front room in a more colorful direction because I really like being in a colorful house. Do you want to come in, bud? Anyway, I think I'm gonna keep pushing the front room to be more and more colorful, and this experience did make me decide that I probably want to like paint designs onto the walls back here. Even though it doesn't completely match the rest of the room necessarily, I love it. I'm obsessed with it. I think it looks really good. It just took me a little bit to get used to it. And yeah, the designs could be way more symmetrical and way more crisp if I had traced them out. What I could have done is I could have taken a photo of the door, uploaded it in my graphic design program, designed like exactly what I wanted, and then drawn that onto the door in pencil and then painted it. And then it would be a lot more nice, I guess. But I like the folk art vibe of having free-handed it, and it does fit in with the free will theme, and this project was already taking forever and taking up too much of my time, and with all of my projects I just hit a point where it's like, okay, I would rather have this be done imperfectly than to have it be done perfectly, but just like sort of be bogging down my to-do list and making me unable to move on to other projects. Yeah, it could be more symmetrical, it could be better, but it's a testament to my creativity and my ability to just jump into things, and I think it's really, really cute overall. So yeah, in general, I think that that's pretty much it. Thank you for coming along for this door saga and watching a lot of footage of me just getting the multi-layers of paint off the door. I am not gonna lie, I don't really want to do another paint scraping job again, but what I've learned, and if you want to refinish your vintage door, your 100-year-old cedar door, is just sand the paint off. Don't even mess with the paint stripper situation. It's not worth it. That's my advice that I've learned through a bunch of trial and error. I'm so happy with how this turned out. Every time I'm walking towards my house and I see the colorful door, it gives me so much joy. Every time I'm on my way out and walking towards the door, it gives me so much joy. And I think it's gone a long way towards making the cabin feel more whimsical from the inside out. Since the outside is just like this weathered wood, it just like really warmed up the whole thing and made it look less like a murder cabin. Eventually, the owners of the property are going to refinish the outside with metal paneling. I'm gonna try to make sure that it's a good color, but in the meantime, I might in the summer do some like random mural projects and just paint on the wooden sides of the house, since there's, you know, it's gonna get covered up anyway. It would be fun in the meantime, that kind of thing. But anyway, that's pretty much it for the Fairy Clubhouse door project. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and my next video is gonna be about all of the gardening stuff that I've been doing on the outside of the cabin. So I hope I see you then. Bye-bye. I got some bloopers for you if you wanna see these bloops.
Would you like to see the portal to my pixie playhouse? Because before you can see the most whimsical door of all time, I must take you with me on this journey. Because we must back up this story. We must move further away from the plot. We must journey back to months ago. This journey of pain, this journey of months of scraping paint, this journey of destruction and many mistakes that brought me to the fairy door. When I started working on this door, when I began the forging, the thinking, the visioning, the creation of the most whimsical door of all time. You must come with me through this very long 2-month journey of creating the door.